Well, good evening and welcome to round 2 of the Crest Autosport Raceroom League's DTM 92 Championship here at the Circuit Zandvoort in the Netherlands. We're pleased to present our sponsors, GP Box, the motorsport marketplace for all your motorsport memorabilia and merchandise. They are providing the service for us today, so a big thank you to them. And pleased to announce that our new companies associated with us, Lovely Stickers and 3M UK, are now providing the prizes for this competition. But enough about that, onto the competition itself. This is round 2 of the 92 DTMs. Last week we had the 2020s for the opening round of their championship, and now it's the second round of fixtures for us here. We're here at the Circuit Zolder, right by the sea in northern Holland, formerly known as the Netherlands. The full circuit today, which is not the circuit that is the modern day or 2020-2021 layout of Zandvoort. A little bit has changed as it has been upgraded to FIA Grade 1 due to the Formula 1 visiting there, meant to be last year, but now this year. The circuit is 2.6 miles or 4.3 kilometres if that's your measurement system, and it costs £4.43 on Raceroom, so if you want to go ahead and buy it, you can do so. 15 turns on this track, 10 to the right and 5 to the left, so the track is going to be very, very tough on that front left tyre for these drivers, or the left side of the car anyway. Over the years it's hosted a whole manner of races, 30 Dutch Grand Prix, Formula 1 Grand Prix anyway, from 1952 all the way to 1985, and it is back for the 2021 season this year. It's hosted 3 World Touring Car events, 2007, 2018 and 2019, and of course DTM, which is the car hosting tonight's race, from 2001 till 2018. This is the itinerary we've got on today. We've got qualifying in just over 5 minutes time, which is a 10-minute sprint to see who has the best time will get on the front of the grid. Race 1 will follow almost immediately after at 5 to the hour with a 10-minute sprint race. And the grids will be based on qualifying there, followed almost immediately by Race 2, or Heat 2 as it's referred to here, with another 10-minute sprint race where the grids will actually be based on the Race 1 results, but the top 8 reversed. Then we'll go for a quick interval while we set up the final race of the day, which is a 30-minute feature race where the grid is based on qualifying results. So those who qualify on pole not only get pole position for Heat 1, will also get pole position for the feature race. So here we are at the circuit of Zandvoort, notorious for bumpy and hilly nature. As we can see the BMW going around. This is actually a flat part of the track, but Sector 2, if we can see anyone on Sector 2 right now, we'll just load up the track map. We'll have a look at Ben Payne, who's actually going through Sector 2 right now, and you can see there it just descends into the Schijfvlak and then back up the hill towards the Masters Bend. Real bumpy track, and particularly in Sector 1 it's quite bumpy as well. But in this session, Jonas Lindberg in the 44 Audi there is top of the pops at the moment with the fastest time by some margin ahead of Albin Kielgren. But what we will do now before we move on to qualifying is we will go through the standings in the championship, as we now have a championship leader, or championship leaders in that case. So here's what happened last week. Qualifying was dominated by Alex Foyle, who got pole position ahead of his brother and teammate William Foyle and Jeff Perkins in 3rd place. Heat 1 then was won by Alex Foyle from pole position, but he had Jeff Perkins to keep him company for most of the race behind him. William Foyle, after a little bit of a difficult start, had to make his way back up to 3rd place. Heat 2, Alex Foyle, having started 8th place, that didn't get in his way. He made his way up to 1st, as did Jeff Perkins into 2nd. So nothing stopped those two drivers in the early part of 2 weeks ago's round 1. Albin Kielgren got 3rd place as William Foyle had drama in that second race. The feature race won by William Foyle, redemption for that second race drama he had. with Emil Holmberg coming through in second place, and Stefan, or known as on the game as Heike Navalov. Our Driver of the Day award went to Alex Foyle, as he was just charging his way through the crowd, cleanly charging his way through the crowd in every race he was in, and the outright quickest. Here are the championship standings for the DTM 92s coming out of round one. Now, despite Alex Foyle dominating the first two races, he in fact does not come out as championship leader. Emil Holmberg comes out with a consistent and quick amount of results last week, just 2 points in the lead of the championship ahead of Alex Foyle. William Foyle in third place. The disappointer of race 2 let him down. He's there in third. Stefan Navalov with his podium in the feature race helped him to get up to fourth. Fifth in the only Mustang in the top 10 here, Ollie Janssen. Jeff Perkis with his dramas in the feature race is there in sixth. Tonga Guardia, a bit of an up and down week 2 weeks ago. He's there in seventh, with Orban Kielgren in eighth. Ian Deeney had a little bit of drama in the feature race as well. He's there in ninth, and Petter Nystrom, a quiet night for him, but racked up a lot of points to get 10th. And the rest is as followed on the right there. And this is the overall championship, so we also have DTM 2020s on the in-between weeks surrounding the 92 races. But this is a combination championship of them, and William Foyle, having done really well last week despite the final lap of the feature race where he thought the checkered flag was out but it wasn't, conceded the lead to Mark Heyman and ended up coming second, but he will still lead the overall championship only by 31 points. 31 seems like a lot, yes, but with all the feature races that we have that are triple points, FYI, that can be made up rather quickly with one mistake from William. But Stefan Navalov in second, Jeff Perkis in third, Ollie Janssen in fourth, and Orban Kielgren in fifth. This overall championship really only benefits those who are doing both championships. But we saw the championship standings for the DTM 92s, which sets out the weight ballast for the drivers as well. So Emil Holmberg's championship leader, he for qualifying Heat 1 and Heat 2 will carry an additional 40 kilos of ballast on his car. Alex Foyle will have 35, and it descends by 5 each time you go down the order through the top 8 in the championship. And speaking of points, here is the points layout for the championship. So whichever position you finish, they're the points you score. In the heats, first place scores 40 points, but in the feature race is triple points for every single position. So very, very crucial that you A, finish, and B, finish good. Ballast is based on where you finish, where you qualify in just over a minute's time, so that decides what ballast you're going to carry for the feature race. And the reverse grid is on the right there, which is reverse 8 based on reverse 8 for race 2 based on the results of race 1. So a lot to take into account, but all will be reminded to you as the night goes on. 21 drivers in the server at the moment. A couple of new drivers to introduce today. One of them is that man there, Jonas Leenberg. Quickest in practice at the moment. He hasn't got any ballast on board, so he's probably got a little bit of an advantage to some of the people behind him. But a good time nonetheless from the Swedish driver. We also have got Alexander Jakobsen, his opening round of the DTM 92s. He's there in 8th place. We have also got Steven de Gravelia. Did not take part 2 weeks ago. Don't think he did anyway. I'll just check. Yeah, he didn't. And it's his birthday today, so a happy birthday to him. The Belgian driver from just outside Brussels. Hasn't really done many laps, I don't think so. Got a bit of time to make up on that lap by the looks of it. The qualifying will start very, very, very shortly. We're watching Heike Navalov, who did a PB in Sector 1 there, so a lot of the drivers in the tail end of this session trying to get a few qualifying laps, or stints in, should we say, to see how they'll get on. Qualifying is where it all matters. There's no points available for qualifying. However, it does decide your starting position for Heat 1 and the feature race. The consequence is it decides your ballast for the feature race as well. So we're just waiting for the session to tick over into the next, which it does. Qualifying starts now, and the drivers will leave the pits in a hurry to get themselves on track for this relatively short 10-minute qualifying session. It's nearly a 2-minute lap, so realistically these drivers will only manage to get maximum of 4 flying laps in, as they've got an out lap. And if they probably will, they could get 5 in actually if they are allowed to finish the lap, but racing doesn't really work that way, so we'll go with 4. But we're watching the practice pace setter Jonas Lindberg out on track at the moment. We'll do a whole lap of him eventually, but this is him coming through the bumpiest section of the track, through the Rob Slotsmacher. And in front of him he is following Ben Payne in the Mercedes. Ben Payne eager to get out early and have a clean track ahead of him. And I think Jonas Lindberg, him knowing that he was quickest in practice, will want to have a clean track ahead of him, and he takes a look at the inside of Ben Payne, ready to start a new lap in a couple of corners time. Let's see if he can get himself in front of the Mercedes. Gets himself alongside. I don't think Ben Payne will want to get in the way on an out lap. Mind you, he definitely gave it a go, staying in front of him. But we will do a lap on board with Jonas Lindberg coming around Kumho now, and now the Ari Lyondijk bend. Very, very long right-hander, which is now banked, as opposed to that almost adverse camber corner, which was in existence from 1999 to 2019. So here we go, a lap of Zandvoort into Tarzan. 180-degree right-hander, sideways as he gets on the power. Now up to Gerlach. Right-hander here. This is the 3rd corner on the track. Now into the Hugenholz. Turn 4. Another 180-degree corner. Steps the back end out as he gets the power on. Very, very nice drifting from Jonas Lindberg here. Now on the fastest section of the track, or one of them anyway. Rob Slotermacher here. Eases off the power just a little bit to keep the car in a straight line into the Scheidlach, and he's gone a bit wide there, not hit the apex all too well there, but will carry on anyway into the Masters. Slight hit of that inside curb, now into turn 9. That is the name of this corner, turn 9, according to my track map it is. And then up to turn 10. Long left-hander. Nice drifting coming out of there. One hand on the wheel. Classic driving there. Down towards the Audi S's, or also known as Hans Ernst Bend. Slight hit of that inside curb, and then round the long left-hander here. Steps the back end out. Doesn't drift it as much as he has on other corners. Now up towards Kumho now. Purple sectors, FYI, for Jonas Lindberg. I'm not sure if that's actually relative to his own time setting, because he hasn't set a time, or if that's to the session with all the competitors. But he comes out of Ari Lyondijk, and that's a lap of Zandvoort. Jonas Lindberg goes top. Ben Payne will next come through. I think Ben Payne didn't get a valid lap time. No, he did actually. Correction there. Andy Withers in 4th place now. A lot of drivers setting their times here. Jonas Lindberg still on top at the moment. Alex Foyle in the fellow Audi is in 2nd. Heike Navalov in 3rd. Emil Holmberg, the championship leader, goes 4th at the moment, 1.8 seconds off the lead. Scott McLean with an impressive lap, 1.8 off the lead though in 5th. Ollie Jansen in 6th. I did predict off air that the Mustang that Jansen is the only driver of will struggle here, because it's not very good on the bumpy tracks. And this is a very, very bumpy track. Ian Deeney, we're watching there, he's in 9th, 2.5 off the lead. But a lot of these cars, you know, they do burn through the tyres quite quickly, but they take a bit of time to warm up as well. Andy Withers, 7th at the moment. time that hasn't come through yet is William Foyle, Albin Kilgren, Jeff Perkis, who were some of the top drivers from last week. Green splits here from Andy Withers, though. He, as it stands, will go quicker. He was quite good in practice, managed to get 7th overall. As he comes towards the final 2 corners of the track to Kumo now. Nice riding of the inside curb there, not too wide. Now into the Ari Lyondike corner. You want full throttle as much as you can round this final corner. And there he goes. Oh, not too wide there. That looked like a very good exit indeed. Very good end to the lap. Another green split, 1 second there, 1.1 off of the lead. Good time from Andy Withers to put himself 5th place. Jeff Perkis puts himself 4th place. This is Jürgen Madsby Pedersen, who's got green splits, 3.6 off the lead before now. 2.3 puts himself up to 10th, so not bad from Jürgen Madsby Pedersen there. Here is Ian Deeney, also getting green splits. Using all of the track there. Across the line he goes in that Mercedes. And improves his time, improves his position to 9th. Just ahead of Petter Nystrom. Purple sector from Jeff Perkis. Jeff, who hasn't won a race yet this season, but 2 second places 2 weeks ago. And in the DTM 20s, he in fact got 2nd in qualifying, but the rest of the night didn't go so well for him, so he's got a lot to make up here. Green split in sector 2, so he's lost a little bit of time. William Foyle has put himself in 3rd place. I've just noticed there, half a second off the lead. Will Foyle, who will have quite a lot of ballast on board. Albin Kilgren puts himself into 7th place there, I've just noticed. Let's see what Jeff Perkis can do now. Is he the one to threaten Jonas Lindberg? Around that final corner, Alexander Jakobsen's just put himself in 7th. Jeff Perkis crosses the line, green sector, but puts himself 3rd, right behind Alex Foyle, his fellow compatriot. Now we're looking at Ollie Jansen in the Mustang. Green splits, he's in 11th at the moment. This looks like a big improvement on the splits. We'll see where he comes through. A little bit straight and true coming out of that final corner. But up to 7th, pretty impressive in what's probably one of the hardest cars to handle in the field. 1.1 off the lead. William Foyle, purple sectors. William Foyle is on for potential pole position. Oh, it was a very scruffy corner then from William Foyle. Getting a bit of tri-line fever maybe, seeing those split times. We'll have to see if he can maintain purple here. He has done in sector 1, he has done in sector 2 there. Losing a little time in sector 2 by the looks of it. Has he done it? William Foyle comes round the final corner. Across the line he goes. And it's green. I don't think he's quicker. No, he isn't. He's 0.132 off of Lindberg. You have to say that that little shake-up through the S's, I think it's the Audi S is referred to, has probably cost him pole position there. He'll go again. We'll have to catch up on him later. There's probably only 1 lap left in most of these drivers now. Looking at Cammy McPhail, green personal best in sector 1, 17th at the moment. Remember, qualifying results, the top 8 of these, it decides what ballast they'll carry for the feature race. It'll also decide where they start for the feature race, as well as Heat 1, which is coming up in just a few moments. Green split again from Cammy McPhail. Hit a bit of the inside curb there, and it straightened the car out a bit too early. We saw there. Not quite hitting the curb on the inside of that corner there. Now into the final corner. Will he improve his time? Coming out of the final corner he goes. Ollie Jansen's about to complete a lap. McPhail crosses the line. He does improve his time. He improves his position to 12th. Good improvement there from Cammy McPhail. Now eyes on an Audi here of Gabriel Lopez, someone we haven't mentioned too much. He's improved from his time in Sector 1. 20th at the moment with Stephen de Gravelia, who, the only one who hasn't set a lap and is in the pits, in fact, so he seems rather comfortable starting from the back. Gabriel Lopez improving his sector times, might improve his position, we'll have to see. And this is what Raceroom does to us, it gives us the results a little bit early. However, it certainly looks like, and in fact it is, Jonas Leenberg who will qualify pole position for the Heat 1 and the feature race. William Foyle lines it up in second with Alexander Foyle in third. Jeff Purkis in fourth with Heike Navaluf in fifth. Sixth will go in the way of Andy Withers with Albin Kilgren in seventh. Ollie Janssen in eighth. We'll get those results back up and we'll finish it off. That's just what Raceroom does to us. There we go. Eighth was Ollie Janssen in the Mustang. Ninth goes to Alexander Jakobsen. Championship leader Emil Holmberg in a rather disappointing 10th place for him. Scott McLean in 11th with Cammy McPhail in 12th. Ian Deeney in 13th. Tonga Guardia in 14th. Petter Nystrom 15th. Pedersen in 16th. Ben Payne in 17th. Ben Sisko, otherwise known as Frank Tennant, in 18th. Roll TK at his home race today is in 19th. 20th is Gabriel Lopez. And line up 21st at the back of the grid will be Stephen de Gravelia, the birthday boy. So that was qualifying, and as we mentioned, those who qualify in the top 8 will receive ballast ranging from 40 kilograms to 5 kilograms for the feature race coming up later on in the night. And it will also decide their starting positions for the feature race coming up. We're looking at Jonas Leenberg. Jonas Leenberg, pole position. Granted, he doesn't have any ballast on board because he did not attend the first race of the season at Brands Hatch Grand Prix. However, it will all catch up with him in the feature race later, potentially. Took pole position, but not by the hugest of margins. Just over a 10th, in fact. But we'll have to see what Jonas can do, as he hasn't got ballast on board. That'll make things easier later on in the race. It's a bit different on a hot lap basis, but with more ballast on board like Alex Foyle and William Foyle do, it will affect them more in terms of tyre wear. Straight line speed as well, and general handling. And here we go. We are preparing on the grid for the opening race of the night of the Crest Autosport Raceroom League's DTM 92 edition. Round 3 of the overall championship, round 2 of the individual DTM 92 championship here. My name is Alex Everett. Give us a subscribe on this channel of Crest Autosport. Give us a like and follow on the Facebook page as well. Just about to get underway here at Zandvoort in northern Netherlands. Can actually hear the sounds of the beach in the background if you listen very carefully. But enough about that. Lights are red. Jonas Leenberg lines up at the front. William Foyle in second in the Mercedes. Lights are green. It's a jump start and a drive-through penalty for Cammy McPhail, as we saw on the notice just to the right there. And it's a spin from Ollie Janssen at the back there. Ollie Janssen in the Merc has spun off into the wall straight away. And his whole gaggle of Audis going into turn 1 here. Jonas Leenberg leads the way through turn 1 with Jeff Purkis slotting in behind him. Alex Foyle has dropped to third at the moment, with William Foyle dropping behind all the Audis to 6th place. Jonas goes through turn 4 now, and Alex Foyle is giving Jeff Purkis a little bit of a nudge up the rear there in 3rd place. On board with Alex Foyle now as Jeff Purkis gets away from a little bit coming out of turn 4. Jeff is looking to Jonas Leenberg right away. Oh, and Alex Foyle, a big push towards Jeff Purkis, braking into the Scheivlak there. Got to remember all the corner names, remember. Foyle up the inside of Jeff Purkis. Alex is on the left, Jeff is on the right, into turn 9 they go. hanging on and giving each other racing room very respectively. William Foyle is up there alongside Albin Kilgren as well and gets ahead. So both the Foyles battling it out, but the other Foyle, Alex Foyle, is back behind Jeff Perkis now. This will help Lindberg, who has no ballast on board, who can stretch away now. An absolute crocodile of Audi cars here. Big mover so far. Frank Tennant, Ben Sisko is up to 10th already, having qualified, I think it was 18th, so a big move for him. I used to call him Mr. Forever Forward. Lost his touch lately, but in this race, doing very well. Up to 10th already. Coming out of the final corner, the end of lap 1 completed. Jonas Lindberg leads the way, just ahead of Jeff Perkis. This is Jeff Perkis now. He'll go for the inside, not able to get late enough on the brakes. Round Tarzan, look how sideways Lindberg is getting. He had to step on the brakes a little bit to shake the car up again. Here we go, through turns 3 now. 4 next. Alex Foyle all over the rear of Jeff Perkis, who's all over the rear of Lindberg through there. Andy Withers in 4th place behind them. Andy Withers hasn't really been a part of the Exiled and the Exiled Raceroom Leagues much at all. Fairly new to this crowd, getting stuck in, really enjoying it. He is our Automobilista 2 host, so do check them out if you search for Crest Autosport Automobilista 2. I can never say the word. You'll find the Facebook group that he's in charge of. William Foyle behind Andy Withers here. William Foyle, who's dropped from 3rd to 5th so far. He dropped from 3rd to 6th at the start of the race. That Audi just so good at getting away at the start, so that's what's losing the Merc so much at this point. The battle going on for 13th place between the Tic Tac livery of Petter Nyström and the car in front is Ian Deeney. Green and goldish Mercedes. Petter Nyström looked to the outside, hangs on to the outside, will now have the inside for the left-hander in the Audi S, but will not be able to complete the move. It looked like a very interesting move indeed from Petter, but not to be just yet. End of lap 2. Jonas Lindberg has broken away a little bit from Jeff Perkis. Still within half a second though. Nice sun glare coming off the windscreens of those Audis there coming down the front straight. Nice and late on the brakes from Jeff Perkis. Late apex, but Lindberg with no weight is just able to pull away. Coming out the corner there. More battles going on. This is Ben Sisko versus Tonga Guardia. Tonga, by the looks of it, got past at turn 1 as Ben Sisko was 10th, 11th at the end of the previous lap and is now 12th. Also look to Scott McLean, who's nearing Emil Holmberg. Emil Holmberg has gone wide there onto the grass, nearly onto the gravel, just about avoided it. The 40 kilos of ballast really not helping Holmberg by the sounds of it, by the looks of it. He's in 9th place at the moment. I mean, qualifying will help him drop all that ballast for the feature race, but between now and then, he's got to deal with that 40 kilos of ballast that he is carrying. Got Ben Sisko in the Audi, that in the BMW is Petter Nyström in the behind, Ian Deeney as well. Battle for 12th place. 8th place is the position you want to be though. Alexander Jakobsen in the BMW, as it stands, taking reverse grid honours. He's got a bit of a buffer to Emil Holmberg behind him. And Jeff Perkis getting closer to Lindberg yet again. Nice exit from the Lion Dyke bend there for Jeff Perkis. Slightly takes the lead. That's the rear end view. We'll go back into TV view now. Jeff Perkis is up the inside. Brakes really late and in fact too late. And Lindberg gets the undercut and back in front of Perkis coming out of Tarzan there. Jeff Perkis trying to flash his lights to put Lindberg off or apologise for cutting him off a little bit. But it was a brave attempt on the lead there for Perkis after a good exit from the Lion Dyke bend. We'll Watch him come through the S's here. To the most easterly part of the track now. And the battle for third is kicking off now. Alex Foyle under pressure from Andy Withers. 3 Crest Autosport drivers going at it. Oh, behave, lads. William Foyle trying the inside of Andy Perkis and not Andy Perkis, Andy Withers, and Withers turned William away. Managed to get back ahead, and Alex Foyle struggling there by the looks of it. Andy Withers gaining on him considerably through turn 10 there. Oh, and there's a car sideways in the back there. That was Alexander Jakobsen. He looked like he was getting real close to Navalov, but stepped away from him. Still in a bit of a lonely position there. Oh, and a half spin by the looks of it from Ben Payne, and he's got damage on the front of that car. Not entirely sure how that happened. Jeff Perkis around the line dyke corner. Not quite close enough yet, but we'll come back to that in a sec. It appeared that Jürgen Masby Pedersen was having a battle with Roll TK. Evidently not, but this is Jeff Perkis. Will he go for a move? No, he won't. Lindberg guards off into Tarzan. There will only be 2 laps remaining now. Jeff Perkis fighting that steering wheel a lot through these corners. Hasn't got much time to make a move on Lindberg. He's already tried once, and this is William Foyle up the inside of Andy Withers. We only caught that late, but it looked like it was a very, very daring move from William Foyle, hitting the side of Andy Withers, who had the inside of the corner anyway. Andy Withers continues in 4th place and right behind. Oh, and look at this. Side by side is Jeff Perkis and Lindberg, and that looks like Jeff Perkis has got ahead. Yes, Perkis is ahead of Lindberg at the top end of the track, and Lindberg has lost the lead with this and another lap remaining. Will he have anything to reply with? Andy Withers has got himself ahead of Alex Foyle back there. Goes wide in turn 10. That will allow Alex Foyle back alongside. Here is Alex Foyle alongside. To the right of him is Andy Withers. Andy will hold the inside for this corner, will not hold the inside for the next. William Foyle trying the inside on Alex Foyle. Will go around the outside. Will Foyle hang on to it? He might have. That might have been a brilliant move from William Foyle. There he is. And he slots back behind Alex Foyle. Jeff Perkis already breaking away from Jonas Lindberg. 1 lap to go, and he is a second clear already. And this is William Foyle. He's back alongside Alex Foyle, who made a mistake through Arie Luyendyk. He's now ahead. That is Alex Foyle losing William Foyle's sight now. And Heike Navalov is getting close to Alex Foyle. So Alex Foyle in a little bit of danger now. Carrying 35 kilos of ballast. Will not be helping at this point as the tyres will start degrading. Navalov followed by Orbin Kjellgren. A bit of an Audi sandwich there. Oh, tries the inside of Foyle. Foyle shuts him off. Jeff Perkis at the front though is clear. Doing very well there by the looks of it. And Andy Withers closing on Jonas Lindberg. These are 2 drivers without ballast, and Andy Withers is having a great race here. We'll have to catch up on him very soon. In fact, we will stay with him at the moment. Good run of momentum. Withers is on as he made his way past Foyle on the previous lap. Trying his hands for second now. Oh, a bit of a shove up the rear. Emil Holmberg, championship leader, is in 8th place at the moment. There's a big battle going on. Alex Foyle has lost out to Kjellgren and Navalov, but on the looks of it, he might be able to get Kjellgren back. He has just for now, but back with Andy Withers. He's not quite close enough to make a move on Lindberg, but he's got to be careful of William Foyle behind him. Alex Foyle was in 3rd place just over a lap ago, and he's now just about hanging on to 6th place. But we got to go to the front as Jeff Perkis takes honours in race 1. We mentioned at the start he hasn't had a win yet this season. He has his first of the season. Jonas Lindberg comes through in second with Andy Withers, his debut podium in the Crest Autosport Leagues. I think that's Jonas Lindberg's first podium as well. William Foyle gets 4th place in the end. Heike Navalov comes through 5th after a battle with Alex Foyle. Kjellgren comes through in 6th, and we missed it, but Holmberg has slotted himself into 7th. A brilliant comeback from him later on in that race, and Alex Foyle has dropped to 8th place. He'll get pole position for the next race, but all the way down to 8th place from 3rd not too long ago. Tonga Guardia comes through in 9th with Scott McLean in 10th, Petter Nystrom in 11th, Ian Deeney in 12th. Alexander Jakobsen was battling for 8th, but something's happened to him and he's dropped to 13th. Ben Sisko with a blinding opening lap to get himself to 10th. Now eventually finishes in 14th. Jürgen Madsby Pedersen finishes 15th with Gabriel Lopez in 16th. Roll TK already back to the pits, finished 17th. Ollie Hansen with the spin on the opening lap recovers to 18th. Ben Payne in 19th, Cameron McPhail will finish 20th, and Stephen de Gravelia comes through in 21st. But your race winner was Jeffrey Perkis, Scooby G, as he calls himself. Not in a Scooby today, he's in an Audi. Nonetheless, he loves that 4-wheel drive power. So, Race 2 will follow immediately in just a few moments' time once the server transfers over to the next race. Pretty exciting race. I mean, the one to applaud to was Andy Withers having started, I think it was, we just checked the qualifying results, 7th, no, not even 7th, 6th place, getting himself through a couple of cars, or round a couple of cars should I say, to 3rd place. Quite impressive from him. Emil Holmberg did well as well. He looked in a spot of bother earlier on in the race. The championship leader will probably not leading the championship after that race. In fact, it probably will be William Foyle who leads the championship after that one. But Emil Holmberg, good recovery to get himself into reverse grid contention, will put himself on the front row of the grid for race 2 coming up very shortly. Yeah, while we're waiting for this, we'll just give you a reminder of what's going on in the season. So 2 weeks ago, we were at Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. Then followed with the DTM 2020s. This is a back-to-back season, so we go from the 92s and to the 2020s per week. So Brands Hatch Grand Prix repeated last week, but now we're out of the UK and into Europe for Zandvoort today. Next week will be the 2020s at Oschersleben in Germany. Then in 2 weeks' time, we're back at Zolder on the 2nd of February. And then the Lauschitz-Ring for the final of the first half in the 2020s. Then it will reverse. So we'll start with the 2020s when we return after a week break. The 23rd of February will be the Salzburg Ring. Then we're off to the Norris Ring for the returning round of the 92s. Then the Hockenheim Ring on the 9th of March for round 5 of the 2020s. Round 5 of the 92s will take place in Czechia at the Autodrom Moss circuit. Then the final round of the 2020s will be the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit, and we'll just hop next door for the final of the 92s and the entire championship at the Nordschleife Arena. So the results came through and we'll put them on your screen now. So just a reminder that your race winner was Jeff Perkis, having battled with Jonas Lindberg for much of the race, got him on the penultimate lap and takes the win. Jonas Lindberg from pole finishes second, Andy Withers from sixth gets third, William Foyle finishes fourth in one of the only Audis, one of the very few non-Audis actually, in the top 8. Heike Navaluf finishes fifth, with Aubin Kilgren in sixth, Emil Holmberg in seventh and eighth, and will be pole position for race 2, Alex Foyle. Race 2 coming up very, very shortly. But who's our money on for this race? Bearing in mind ballast hasn't changed, so Emil Holmberg, who starts second, still has the most ballast. Alex Foyle, who starts on pole position, has... I just have to remind myself how much he has. 35 kilos, so second most. Starts second, so the two drivers at the top 2 steps of the championship. Oh, big sideways there from Foyle. Yep, got away with it. With the most ballast, you could probably say the results might be reflective of the ballast effect on these cars, but we'll have to see in this race. We'll have to see indeed. Andy Withers and Jonas Lindberg, the two in the top 8 here who haven't got ballast on board. And of the top 10, there's them two and Tonga Guardia, who starts 10th, who's... not Tonga Guardia, sorry, Scott McLean, who starts 10th, who hasn't got ballast either. But we're lining up on the grid for Heat 2 of the Crest Autosport Raceroom League's DTM 92 edition here at Circuit Zandvoort. Drivers line up. Pole position is Alex Foyle. Coming into today, he was second in the championship. That might have changed after that race just then. We'll have to find out later. If you follow our Facebook page, you will find out the championship standings just a few moments after tonight's racing finishes. But these drivers in this championship that are not only fighting for honours of being the Crest Autosport champion, but also you can see our prize providers on the bottom left. 3M UK and Lovely Stickers are providing prizes to these guys who win this league. But anyway, the racing is about to start. Alex Foyle is on pole position with Emil Holmberg in second. Away we go. And Audi pulls off to get past someone, but Alex Foyle is away, and all the Audis just trouncing everyone on the start there. Aubin Kilgren has put himself into second place. Lindberg puts himself into third place already from 7th place. Emil Holmberg dropping from second to 4th already. William Foyle has already dropped down to 8th place. It's a real difficult track to get going with the Audis around you. But coming out of turn 4 onto the first section of the lap, Alex Foyle leads the way with Kilgren not far behind him at all. Oh, Alex Foyle cutting a lot of that corner there, and he'll get a slowdown for that, definitely. He'll have to serve that here, and in the next corner, Scott McLean also got a slowdown penalty. He's in 8th place, so he's moved up 2 positions from the start. Ben Sisko, yet again, the man with the plan, is there in 9th place. Battling with Scott McLean, I think. No, it's the Tic Tac livery of Per Nystrom alongside him. Gets himself into 10th place there. And this is Kilgren right behind Alex Foyle. Aubin Kilgren got a podium finish in race 2 weeks ago at Brands Hatch, and there's a move from Jeff Perkis looking toward Emil Holmberg, but will not get him here. Emil Holmberg will hang on. Coming out of the Audi S, we're watching Jonas Lindberg there in 3rd place. A lot of Audis with very similar liveries, so it's difficult to tell them all apart. But Jonas Lindberg, who finished 2nd in the first race, already in a podium position right now, and Alex Foyle having a good end of lap here. He's broken away a little bit from Aubin Kilgren, was just over a second, now just below a second ahead of him. Foyle leads the end of the opening lap here at Zandvoort race 2. William Foyle dropped to 7th, and he's got a bit of damage on the front there. I didn't quite see how that happened. Fighting in the mid-pack there, that's really bunched up his bonnet there. Hopefully his engine is okay. Lindberg again, right on the rear of Kielgren. Oh, too much curb there, and we're just skipping to Jakobsen as he spun and is recovering. Back at the front here, Holmberg now capitalising on Lindberg's mistake. Lindberg cutting the curve a bit too much and nearly rolled it. Andy Withers was a slow down penalty. Withers is there in 6th place, just ahead of William Foyle, cutting that corner the same as Foyle did earlier. Alex Foyle, that is. Looking from Jeff Perkins' view on the white BMW of Emil Holmberg. Into turn 9. Hard right here now into a hard left-hander, and that is Foyle battling with Andy Withers. Falls on the outside. Not the best place to be on the outside. A little bit of connection issues, but it looks fit for William Foyle. He was lagging about a little bit. Oh, and this is Jeff Perkins got the upper hand on the BMW at the end of the straight here. Holmberg didn't give much room, and there's a battle ahead between Lindberg and Kielgren, but they stay where they are, and Holmberg is able to stay ahead of Jeff Perkins. Now, this is what Holmberg was so good at doing last week, was just hitting up consistent results all race meeting long, and that's how he got himself into the championship lead by the end of the night. Let's see if he can continue that today. Jeff Perkins hasn't got an answer for Holmberg yet. Holmberg, who has got more ballast on board, will have less power down the straight, particularly the end part of the straight here. But Jeff has not got enough to get alongside. Andy Withers battling with William Foyle back there. Not going to make it, and that is Petter Nystrom and Ben Sisko battling it out for 10th place. Sisko very late on the brakes there, but stays ahead and online through Tarzan. This has been a brilliant charge through the field from Frank Tennant so far. He's got 2 names, Frank Tennant and Ben Sisko. I think Ben Sisko is his father, who he pays tribute to. So a very nice touch. Jeff Burke is battling again, Emil Holmberg. He's getting alongside, but Holmberg is just hanging on so well to that position. The battle for second here. Foyle is just away there. This is what Foyle did last week. He got to the front and he was able to lead from the front, obviously, but led the races quite well last week, and he might do the same again here, despite the extra ballast. If Lindberg can get past Kielgren here, he might be able to make an advance on Foyle, but he's not able yet to get past Kielgren. Just looking to Perkins, who's alongside yet again of Emil Holmberg, and in fact Holmberg later on the brakes yet again in front of Jeff Perkins, and gets back ahead of him. Jeff cannot shake off Emil Holmberg, who's defending brilliantly from the Audi. You've got to say. Lindberg close to Kielgren, not enough to just slip it up the inside just yet. Coming out of Ari Leyendijk, will he get a good run? Very close to the rear, but not yet gonna make a move. In fact, it wasn't as good a run out of the corner as we thought it was. This is Andy Withers alongside Emil Holmberg. Holmberg has dropped out. Oh no, that's sorry. Perkins alongside Holmberg. Round Tarzan they go. Perkins will now have the inside for turn 3. Will Holmberg stay ahead? Round turn 3 they go. Holmberg will hang on to the inside for turn 4. Brilliant done yet again from Holmberg. Perkins will try a deep outside line, but will have to slot back in behind. He tries all the road just to try and get ahead, but in fact it might have been just enough to slip ahead of Holmberg as he slips back behind. Huge determination from Jeff Perkins to get ahead there, using plenty of the track and more to get past him, and in fact uses too much trying to get away from him. He's now trying to catch up with the top 3. That allows Holmberg a little look up the inside, but could not make it. That's a slow running Alex Foyle there. Foyle has dropped off the lead and is backing off a huge amount. Not sure what happened there. Unfortunately, we're not able to get replays. He's still running slow. Is that a puncture? Is that a puncture? I think it might be. He's struggling there. It's not visibly obvious if it's a puncture or not, although he's trying to move again on Heike Navalov. Not entirely sure what's going on. He's struggling to keep hold of that car, but looks as if he's not giving up on the battle with Heike Navalov here. And the battle rages on between the top, between 3rd to 6th. Holmberg has dropped behind Withers, Foyle and Perkis. Now it's not a good lap for him. Alex Foyle running wide in the background there on the grass, still side by side with Navalov. But the leader slipped away from him, and it's in the hands of Albin Kilgren now with 2 and a bit minutes to go. Just shy of 3 minutes. And it's now between Kilgren and Lindberg. Lindberg, who will want redemption for what happened in race 1 where he lost the lead to Perkis in the final moments. He'll want to get the lead off someone in the final moments of this race by the looks of it. William Foyle, 4th again, despite the mangled front end on that Mercedes, right on the rear of Jeff Perkis. Oh, and a bit of connection issues for William Foyle by the looks of it. We saw it earlier. Others be reluctant to battle with him. Emil Holmberg getting a very big shift on there and losing a little bit of ground to Andy Withers ahead of him. Andy Withers, I don't think, can take part in the feature race later. He's got a work conference, which is a shame because he's hitting some numbers in this race today. Holmberg taking a very wide line through whatever that corner's called. Navalov able to capitalise, is on the inside going into turn 9. He'll have the inside, but Holmberg will have the better line through the corner and the inside for the next, but he might not be able to hang on to it. Navalov, will he shut him off? Yes, he will. Navalov takes the position and 6th place. So Holmberg and Foyle, who are looking very, very handy in the early part of this race, are not looking very handy towards the end of this race. Stephen de Gravelia has sadly gone into the pits for some reason and missing his pit spot, but a bit of damage on that car might have forced him to pit. And that is William Foyle battling with Jeff Perkis, and he's got ahead of Jeff. He was ahead of Jeff Perkis, then he wasn't, now he is. But back onto the podium for William Foyle. A difficult start to this race, as you can tell by his front end, but looking like a decent end to it. Albin Kilgren leads as he comes onto the final lap of the race, 6/10 clear of Lindberg. By no means over. He's got to maintain himself. He's got to keep this lap hooked up. No reverse grids for this next race. Whatever they did in qualifying is where they'll start for the feature race. This is purely points that are on offer now. Andy Withers following Jeff Perkis. He might be able to make a move and get himself into 4th place. Andy Withers got himself onto the podium in the final moments of the race just before this. Emil Holmberg trying to recover. It was looking like a decent start to the race for him. He's now in 7th. Alex Foyle will be kicking himself. Had the lead in his hands, had the race in his hands, and somehow it just slipped away. You'll have to find out. I'll have to find out on the group chat what happened to him. Got William Foyle real close to Lindberg. So whereas we thought, well, half predicted Lindberg would try and catch Kilgren, it's the opposite. He's in danger of losing 2nd to Foyle at the moment. He's on a big charge despite the damage on his front end. Not many more opportunities for William to do it. The Audi is probably better on this part of the track than the Mercedes is. Late on the brakes, right behind Lindberg, and puts a bit more dent in his front end than he had already. Williams really got to sort out his connection issues. What a big battle going on for 11th here. But you have to skip away from this eventually. But that's Cammy McPhail on the back of Tonga Guardia. Jansen's on the inside of him. Oh, all sorts of cars here. Ben Payne's in there. Pedersen's in there. Cisco's in there. Big battle there. But Albin Kilgren wins his first race of the season in that Audi here at Zandvoort. Lindberg, another 2nd place for him. Still big points, you'd be happy with that, with William Foyle in 3rd place. Not sure what happened there. He drove across on Lindberg there. Not entirely sure what happened. 4th place comes through Jeff Perkis with Andy Withers in 5th. Heike Navalov comes through in 6th with Emil Holmberg in 7th and Alex Foyle in 8th. And these guys battle to the end. It was a battle for 11th. Cisco heads it in the end with Pedersen in 12th. Ben Payne in 13th and Tonga Guardia in 14th. We messed out 9th. That went to Petter Nystrom, with Scott McLean finishing 10th. Yeah, going into the abyss there. To continue off from 14th. Ole Janssen in the only Mustang in the field, 15th. Ian Deeney in 16th. Cameron McPhail, yeah, sinking into the abyss in 17th. Roll TK in the kitty litter there, 18th. This is a good, yeah, this is a good end for these guys. Gabriel Lopez in 19th, Alexander Jakobsen 20th, and Stephen de Gravelia in 21st. So without further ado, rather than seeing these rather picturesque views, we'll look at Zandvoort instead. We will be going for a short break while we get ready for the feature race, which is coming up in just about 10 minutes time for the 30-minute feature race. This has been the Crest Autosport Raceroom League, sponsored by GP Box here at Zandvoort. Don't go away, we'll be back in just a few moments. Welcome back to Zandvoort for round two of the Crest Autosport Raceroom League's DTM 92 Championship, sponsored by the GP Box for your motorsport merchandise and memorabilia. There's a link in the description of this YouTube live stream if you want to go check out their products. We're here at Zandvoort today, and this championship, the 92s, is being Partnered with Lovely Stickers and 3M UK, who are the prize providers of this series and the DTM 2020 series running adjacent to this. We've got the feature race coming up in less than 5 minutes now. 30 minutes race where the grid is based on the qualifying results, and it's a bit more than just a regular sprint race. You have to consider your tyres here and keep them preserved to the end. Now, whereas last week at Brands Hatch, the drivers could take the cars to the end, the tyres to the end. Not particularly sure it's going to be that easy this week. I might be wrong. There might be drivers who risk trying to get it to the end, but this track is far more demanding on the tyres. So it will be a little bit tricky, but we'll see. We'll see if we can work it out as we go along. So we'll just remind ourselves what the grid order will be coming into this final race of the night. So there we go. Jonas Lindberg, who qualified pole position, will get pole position for this race. William Foyle will line up in second, but William Foyle has really been struggling against the the other Audis, just because four-wheel drive's getting off the line so much better. He's in second with Alex Foyle. Disappointing races, 2 8th places for him. He will start in 3rd place. He'll hope he can make up in the feature race, which has got triple points, by the way. 4th, Jeff Perkis. 5th will be Heike Navalov. Andy Withers would be 6th, but that slot will be missing for this race, sadly. He was doing so well tonight as well. But hopefully we'll see him back next week at Oschersleben for the DTM 2020s. Alvin Kjellgren in 7th. Ollie Jansen in 8th. Alexander Jakobsen will line up 9th. 10th will line up Emil Holmberg, the championship leader coming into today, by the way. 11th will line up Scott McLean with Cameron McPhail in 12th. Ian Deeney in 13th with Tonga Guardia in 14th. Petter Nystrom will line up 15th with Jürgen Madsby Pedersen in 16th. Ben Payne in 17th. Ben Sisko in 18th. Roll TK in 19th. Gabriel Lopez in 20th. And 21st will be Stephen de Gravelia. So this is what we've got coming up. Zandvoort today, and then we're over to the 2020s for round 2 next week, which is at Oschersleben. Do tune in for that. For the rest of the season, we've got Zolder in the 92s for round 3. Round 3 of the 2020s will be Lauschitzring. We'll have a week off, and then we'll be back in reverse order. The 2020s will start at Salzburg Ring in Austria. Norris Ring, the opening restart of the 92s on the 2nd of March. Then the Hockenheim Ring for the 2020s, down to Czechia for the 16th of March at the Autodrom Most circuit. The Nürburgring GP circuit will finalise the DTM 2020s, and finalising the entire thing plus the 92 edition will be the Nordschleife. If you want to get involved in this series, join our Facebook group, Crest Autosport Raceroom Leagues. There is a Google form to sign. That's all you need to do to enter this series, if you have Raceroom, of course. Now, as we said, the feature race, not just a longer race, triple the time also means triple the points. So whereas in the heats the drivers would score 40 points for a win in the feature race will score them 120 points. So whilst equally positions count, finishing also counts for these drivers. Drivers also have different ballast based on where they qualified, so we'll bring that just back up to remind you. Jonas Lindberg will have the most ballast with 40 kilos, plus the mandatory 15 kilos that the Audi carries. William Foyle 35, and it runs down by 5 until 8th place. So we're going to get going for the feature race very, very shortly. The sun sets on the coast of northern Netherlands as we watch Tonga Guardia come around the Audi S in the shade here. Nice and cool track, which will help these tyres, you'd hope. It is a sim, but you'd hope that shade would help these tyres. "20 drivers in the server. The only one missing will be Andy Withers, as we said, who had a fantastic 2 races tonight, so hopefully he'll do equally as well in future races, and hopefully we'll have more battling up the front, because this little scuffle between these 8 drivers is very, very entertaining, I've got to say. So here we go, the feature race here of the second round of the Crest Autosport League's DTM 92 edition here at Zandvoort Grand Prix layout. My name is Alex Everett. I've been your commentator tonight for Crest Autosport. Do give us a subscribe, do give us a follow on the Facebook page to find out the championship standings and news about this league and other leagues we've got going on. We've got Dirt Rally, Automobilista 2 and other leagues on other sims coming up very shortly. But just in the nick of time, the lights are red here at Zandvoort. We're about to get going for the final race of the night. Away we go. Jonas Lindberg gets away in the Audi, and there's an Audi come through the middle there, right past William Foyle there. Down towards Tarzan we go. Jonas Lindberg lead the way. That's Jeff Perkis in second place there, who will get just ahead of Alex Foyle. He repeated what he did in race 1. Gets himself into second. That's Albin Kjellgren in fourth place, right behind Alex Foyle. And right behind him is William Foyle, who dropped to fifth from second. Oh, and that's a spin. That's Heike Navalov, and there's an Audi upside down there. I think that was Scott McLean. Yes, it was. Scott McLean. No, that's Scott McLean there. I'm not sure where that other Audi has gone, but Heike Navalov has to get away, and there was another Audi there. Who was it? I can't figure out who it was. It might have been Scott McLean, but 2 races heavily dashed already. Oh, and that is Alex Foyle, who drops behind Kjellgren, who went round the outside of Alex Foyle, and Alex Foyle will try the outside of Kjellgren here. Now takes to the inside to go up the inside of Jack Perkins into turn 9. Kjellgren is up to second place already. 2 cars in pretty much 1.5 corners. Brilliant from him there. Big gaggle of cars there, now battling for third. That's Alex Foyle right behind Jeff Perkins. His brother is behind him in 5th place. Alexander Jakobsen having a good start here. He's up to 6th already. Emil Holmberg looks to the inside of Jakobsen. Jakobsen gives him room, but has got the inside for the next corner. Alex Foyle right behind Jeff Perkins. Isn't quite alongside. Get on board with him. No, he isn't. Oh, and that's a spin for... Oh, who was that? I think that was Navalov again. Yes, it was. Navalov not having a good start here. Not at all. And just to go back up here, William Foyle swapping positions with Alexander Jakobsen a minute ago. But at the end of the first lap, Lindberg leads the way, rocketing away from from Kjellgren, sorry. Now, William Foyle has got to pounce on these Audis again. And these guys have got to remember they've got to take these tyres to the end of this race. Battling is going to scrub off a lot of rubber. Side by side between Holmberg and Jakobsen again. Holmberg will now hold the inside for turn 4. Good move from Holmberg. Gets himself into 6th place ahead of his compatriot and I think teammate Jakobsen. The Foyle of Alex Foyle has got ahead of Jeff Perkis and will get away from him at the moment. Jeff Perkis defending from William Foyle. And a big train of cars, and Jeff Perkins has run wide there. Got to keep hold of it. Oh no, and he's made contact with Alexander Jakobsen, who keeps it going. No, he doesn't. Oh, it's a pile-up. He had nothing he could do there. He was in the way of Tonga Guardia, and I think that was Cameron McPhail. It was. Oh, Cameron McPhail was coming through the order as well. There was nothing Cameron could do there, and in fairness to Jakobsen, he tried desperately to hang on to the car. As a result of Jeff Perkis' mistake, it all just came together and the pile-up happened. But it's a long race and plenty can happen. Plenty will happen. Plenty has happened. Ollie Hansen's one of the biggest movers so far. He's up to 7th already from, I think it was 11th place. We'll just remind ourselves. Oh no, from 8th place, sorry, so he's up 1 place. But in the Mustang, on a track that's not very kind to the Mustang, pretty impressive. Holmberg is on the back of William Foyle. Foyle has got away from Jeff Perkis. He'll say finally to that. But these guys can get their heads down now and focus on getting those tyres to the end. That would be the biggest challenge on this track. Oh, and big lunge up the inside from Emil Holmberg. William Foyle just about avoids it. And I think Holmberg... Oh, William Foyle putting the power down too hard. And I think Holmberg sort of said, you know what, Will, you can have that back. Good sportsmanship there from Emil Holmberg, despite nearly ruining Will's race, but didn't. So we don't have to reflect on that. This is Ollie Jansen right in front of Ian Deeney. Ian Deeney's been quite quiet tonight, but is into 8th place at the moment in the Mercedes, who is right in front of Ben Sisko, who's been a bit of a star-like figure tonight. Slow down penalty for Emil Holmberg up there in 5th place. Cut that corner. There's been cut quite a lot by these drivers tonight. The Rob Slottermacher corner, and just to make things worse for Jakobsen, he's got a slow down penalty. Probably a bit of damage on that car as well, trying to keep hold of the car but eventually spinning in front of other cars, the likes of it was McPhail and a Mercedes. It might have been Tonga Guardia, my memory serves me right. Now Pat Nystrom is on the back of Ben Sisko in front of him. BMW, a fantastic sounding car, trying to make up alongside of Frank Tennant, who shuts him off a little bit. Pat Nystrom will have to tuck back in behind, and that's Ben Payne behind in the, I think it's the Jacques Lafitte livery Mercedes. William Foyle gaining a little bit, half a second behind Alex Foyle, his brother now. But at the front, we haven't mentioned him much. Jonas Lindberg leading the way. The difference between this race and the first race is he's got more ballast on board, but that's not disturbed him here. He's really hooked into this race, drama-free so far. And has pulled away. He can fairly relax now. Jeff Perkis, his night going, well, his race going from bad to worse. He's dropping down the order. He's got on the inside of him there Rolled TK, and past him goes Jakobsen. Something's not right with that Audi by the looks of it. In fact, I've just spotted on the tyre screen, and this is something that they didn't do last week. Jeff Perkis there is on hard tyres, so that might have been what happened to him earlier, but Jeff Perkis taking a risk by the looks of it, taking hard tyres to see if he can get them to the end better than what the softs can. Big risk, because he's losing a lot of places and a lot of time, but we'll see what happens. He might come into his own later on in the race. Now this is William Foyle up the inside of his brother Alex Foyle. Don't make contact, guys, there'll be fisticuffs in the bedroom later on. by that I mean they'll punch each other, alright. Emil Holmberg trying to get the undercut on the Audi of Alex Foyle, who lets his brother go rather easily. Emil Holmberg, who has had an up and down night, will try his hands at 4th place at the inside, but he's not going to make it. This is Tonga Guardia, a quiet night for him behind Frank Tennant, Ben Sisko. Frank, who's in 8th place now, and that's Ben Payne, who's also a Crest Autosport driver alongside Tonga Guardia on the back of Frank. Ben Payne, who's also had a quiet night, not had the results that he had last week in the 2020s, where he got his first podium, well, his best result that I've seen him have ever, with 2nd place in race 2. This is Alex Foyle we're watching again now, but we'll look back to Tonga Guardia, who's alongside Ben Sisko. Oh, and a bit of side-to-side contact. We go into Tarzan. Plenty of room given there. Oh, and Tonga Guardia couldn't keep hold of it. He had to back out of it. Just about keeps hold of it. But we'll try again at another time. That's Ben Payne right behind him as well. Foyle. Alex Foyle was one of the quickest men last week. And, he chose to come in the pits, but his brother stayed out, and his brother went through to win the race by conserving his tyres and staying a lengthy distance ahead of the drivers behind him. The likes of Emil Holmberg we're watching now. Okay, Navalov was another who stayed out on the risky no-stop strategy. And that's Gabriel Lopez I'm seeing there. I can't work out where he is on the track, but he's had to retire from the race now. He couldn't recover. It must have damaged the car too much. It's a shame for him. Now only 19 cars remaining in this race. Roll TK has spun at turn 9 there. He was battling with Cammy McPhail. Now will drop down to 19th and last place, but with a big gaggle of cars in front of him. That's Stephen de Grevellia and Petter Nystrom battling, and it looked very tight between them two, but Stephen de Grevellia slipped it sideways as a result of contact and is now down to 19th place. Battle between Tonga Guardia and Ben Cisco going on still. The hill round the Ari Lion Dyke bend they go. This is Holmberg on the inside of Alex Foyle. Good move up the inside into Tarzan, and Alex Foyle lets him go. Emil Holmberg is into 4th place, and he slipped up coming out there, and he's let Alex Foyle back past. Tonga Guardia still battling. Ben Payne has slipped in front of 2 cars in one corner, but looks for here. He's alongside Frank Tennant and will have the inside going into turn 3. Will he hang on to it? Yes, he will. Tonga Guardia will try the inside now, but Frank Tennant doesn't really gain a position there, but Ben Payne gained 2. Into 8th he goes. Alex Foyle has slipped back behind Emil Holmberg. So while we are watching Cisco and Payne, these two swap positions again. Foyle has just not been able to hook it up quite like what he did at Brands Hatch, his home Grand Prix last week, granted, but hasn't been able to hook it up tonight as he has done. But this is a feature race, not a sprint race, so we're only a third of the way through, so there's plenty more to go for these drivers as the sun sets on Zandvoort. And Scott McLean now joining that battle with Tonga Guardia and Frank Tennant right in front of him, and that is them two door to door coming round turn 10, and they'll be side by side as they come down to the Audi S. Or will they? Because Tonga Guardia has Scott in front of him on pace alone. Will have the position going into the Audi S, but it's now another 4-way battle. Navaluf and McLean behind these two here. I have to draw your attention to the front as, there we go, Jonas Lindberg is the first to decide to come into the pits. Now, this might change other drivers' views. Lindberg's probably chose to come in to try and get the jump on people later by running fresh tyres on the earlier part of this stint here, the halfway point of this race. So Lindberg would take on tyres here, promote Kilgren to the lead, and that was a very, very, very nasty looking corner there between Navaluf, McLean and Cisco as McLean nips back in front of the two of them. The undercut coming out of Tarzan, and he lost the 2 positions, but undercuts beautifully past Navaluf and Cisco back into 9th place. As his teammates Ben Payne and Tonga Guardia get away up the road. A slowdown penalty for Alex Foyle in 4th place on that corner again. The Rob Stoltemacher. Here's Emil Holmberg right on the back of William Foyle. Holmberg's having a good race here by the looks of it, and is right on William Foyle. Not wasting any time. Ollie Jansen's on the back of Alex Foyle as well. It seems that Foyle, the two Foyle brothers, trying to conserve their tyres a little more, I presume. Another battle going on between Navaluf, side-to-side contact between him and Scott McLean. Into turn 10 they go. Not much room given, but McLean will hold the inside. And the move complete from McLean to get himself back into 9th place. Ian Deeney is dropping off somehow. He's let past Ben Payne and Tonga Guardia. Something must have happened there. A spin perhaps. Didn't quite catch it. But that is Scott McLean. The battle we were just watching on the back of him. And Scott McLean made a mistake coming out of the Audi S there. Real door-to-door contact between him and Navaluf. Navaluf might have got the position ahead of him. They're not giving each other any room whatsoever. As Scott McLean hangs onto the inside, but Navaluf shuts it off. Good exit from Lyndike from McLean. And will slot back behind, in fact. Jeff Perkins on the hard tyres, still struggling by the looks of it. It's not really working out for him. He hasn't got the jump on... He has got the jump, in fact, on Jonas Lindberg. It's coming out of the Audi S. So if everyone else pits, Jeff Perkins will get the jump on everyone if he can get his tyres to the end. We'll have to see. We'll have to see indeed. It's really interesting. Emil Holmberg on the back of William Foyle. Holmberg's having a really, really good feature race here. Getting through the crowd a little bit. He was a bit beaten up, I'd say, in race 1 and race 2. But doing well in this feature so far. Ben Cisco is in the pits. He's decided to take on tyres. Ian Deeney, I think that's out of the race for Ian Deeney, unfortunately. I think that's him. Yes, it is. That's such a shame. Ben Sisko in the pits. Now that promote. Oh, hang on. Albin Kilgren. Where's Albin Kilgren gone? I cannot see Albin Kilgren on the timing screen here unless I'm being thick. I don't think I am. Kilgren's disappeared off the screens and that might be a disconnection. Hopefully not. Am I really... Anyway, at the moment on the timing screens, William Foyle is in the lead of the race, just ahead of Emil Holmberg. This is Tonga Guardia alongside Ben Payne. Oh, tries the outside, 2 Mercs going at it. We'll jump back to that. Tonga Guardia outside going around Lion Dyke. Still side by side, good battling from these two. Ben Payne slots back behind into 6th place at the moment, with others who have come in the pits. Now I cannot see Albin Kilgren. It might be a disconnection for him. Big shame, particularly in the feature race where lots of points are lost. Scott McLean is in the pits. So to keep an eye on Jeff Perkis, who is coming in the pits on hard tyres. Well, this is a very odd strategy from Scooby G. But also in the pits in front of him is Stephen de Grevelia in the Tic Tac livery. Ben Sisko there, last of the runners. Well, last of the people to catch up with the pits here. But Jonas Lindberg is already past the people in the pits, and Lindberg will be putting in fast laps now to get back up the order. His last lap was the fastest lap of the race, in fact a 47.1, hugely quicker than everyone else's best lap by more than a second. So you've got to say Lindberg is favourite to take it if everyone else goes in the pits. Now I know for a fact these 3 drivers didn't come in the pits last week. On a drive-through penalty for Jeff Perkis, speeding in the pit lane, bouncing off the limits are probably too much. Oh, Jeff. But these 3 at the front, yeah, just to come back to it, did not pit last week, and I presume they're going to try and do the same here today. It's Merc versus BMW versus Mustang. William Foyle came out on top in the feature race last week. Emil Holmberg finished 2nd in the feature race last week. So, a bit of a story here. And these 2 will be battling on dead rubber right about... Well, they are battling on near dead rubber right now. And it'll just get worse and worse for them as the race goes on. They've got to be really careful they don't get a puncture, because that's what can happen with these cars on Raceroom, is punctures are more probable on the older rubber. Jonas Lindberg will catch up with him. He's in 13th at the moment. Drivers in front of him yet to pit as Alex Foyle come in the pits. Alex Foyle is in the pits. And if we look to Lindberg, he's past him. And round Tarzan he goes. This is Foyle leaving the pits now. He's not too far behind Lindberg. Foyle has had a good couple of in-laps there. Will have a chance to try and catch up with Lindberg as he's on fresher rubber. Holmberg has dropped back a little bit from William Foyle now, under pressure from Janssen in the charging Mustang. Listen to this thing roar coming out of the Audi S here. Oh, it's a very mighty sounding car, and I've slowed down penalty for Alex Foyle. We're not helping. Oh, not just a slow down penalty, but a spin as well. Cold tyres have got the better of him, and he's just screwed that up a little bit. He's now dropped to 7 seconds behind Lindberg, which drops his chances of trying to win this race. These 3 stay out. And I've just got word from Albin Kilgren. His game has crashed. These things do happen, sadly, on this game. Unfortunately, it's real sad. And that was Jeff Perkis serving his drive-through penalty. Consolation points now for Jeff Perkis to stay in the fight. But as I say that, somebody else has dropped off my timing screen. I can't quite figure out who it is yet. Is it Alex Foyle? Alex Foyle has disappeared from the timing screen. Oh dear indeed, that will not help his championship at all. Yeah, wasn't having a bad night. He was not having his best night though. And things have slipped away even further now. Game crashed for, oh dear, there's a lot happening tonight. Gremlins on Raceroom tonight. Axel and Owen Kjellgren out of this race due to technical difficulties. Not what you want in a triple points race. But this is the battle for the lead. The trio that are not absolutely refusing to pit. The leader of the people who have pitted is Jonas Leenberg, who's now on the back of Roald TK. He's got to take care passing him because he'll have much more grip than Roald. Roald at his home race today. Leenberg will not want to waste time behind him. He'll want to get past him and get on with the job at hand. 10 minutes to go to catch up with William Foyle. If we turn off the relative standings, there we go. He's 40 seconds off the lead. Well, he's got to catch 4 seconds per lap. Now, if Jonas Leenberg continues to set laps like he did last time, which is 49.8, he might have been in traffic. He's 2 seconds quicker than William Foyle. And William Foyle at the front here, and Emil Holmberg has decided enough's enough. I'm coming in the pits. So a gamble from Emil Holmberg, who couldn't get his way past William Foyle, is risking it to come in the pits, and we'll see if he can come out ahead of Jonas Leenberg. Leenberg's there. He's the first of the runners, and he's got past Roald TK. Emil Holmberg, when will he get going? If we look at the track map for Jonas Leenberg, he's coming down the start-finish straight now. You can definitely safely say that Leenberg is going to take the lead. Yes, he does. Past Leenberg goes. Well, it's not the lead, but of those who were at the front before pitting, Emil Holmberg a long way behind now, and he's still in the pits, in fact, and that also means Scott McLean will get his way past Emil Holmberg. But the top two is between these two at the moment, William Foyle and Ollie Jansen. William Foyle, the one who wants to hang on, not pitting throughout the entire season. Ahead of the Mustang, which seems to be wanting to get past, might be able to pull away. Jansen has pulled up to Foyle rather significantly in this race. There's a long gap between these guys. Antonga Guardia currently in third place. Out of the final corner with just shy of 8 minutes to go, which will be about 4-5 laps. Nasty roar to surprise us then from the Mustang into Tarzan, and it just looks like they're taking different lines. It's just the characteristics of these cars so different to one another, but they'll be taking lines that preserve the rear tyres, put less work onto them and more work onto the front tyres. Jonas Leenberg, who was leading the race before he came into the pits, 8th place at the moment, just shy of 40 seconds off the lead. He won't be able to catch that. He will not be able to catch that. In fact, he's going to struggle to catch many of the others, and he's going into the pits. There's some strange strategies going on today. So first Jeff Perkis, and now Jonas Leenberg going into the pits. I really can't work out what's going through these drivers' heads, what strategies are at play here, but you've certainly got to say that William Foyle and Jansen, this is now the battle for the race win. It's got to be. They're definitely not coming in the pits. Neither's Ben Payne, neither's Cameron McPhail, neither is Jakobsen. Guardia isn't either. Guardia's made a mistake somewhere and has dropped from 3rd to 6th, a mangled front end, and it looks like he can't control that car, so it might be a damaged suspension as well. But up until Emil Holmberg or even Heike Navalov, I think it might be Emil Holmberg, in fact, they haven't pitted. A drive-through penalty for Jonas Leenberg speeding in the pit lane just to make matters worse for him. Ollie Jansen Not far from William Foyle. The thing is, there's just not enough grip to make a move. Coming out of the pits then was Scott McLean coming into the pits again. I'm not sure why these drivers are taking on additional tyres. It's very, very strange. That's twice they've been in the pits. There's another driver in the pits by the sounds of it. Cameron McPhail, I think. Yes, it is. He pulls into his pit bay now. Well, I thought he was. Not entirely sure what's going on there for him. But still right on. The leader is Janssen. We were saying it. Here we go. Little blip in the stream there, I think. Oh, Janssen real close to William Foyle now. Oh, up the inside, William Foyle shuts him off. A little harsh, you have to say, from William, but stays in the lead at the moment. Janssen was looking a bit handy for the lead then. But not to be. You'll have to try again. Another time you have to try and catch up now with cooked tyres, you've got to say. Third place Ben Payne at the moment. Had his first podium last week. On for another today, but he's got Jakobsen not far behind him. He's got to hang on to that. Tonga Guardia in 5th place at the moment. First of the drivers who have pitted is Emil Holmberg. And just look how far behind he is. More than a minute. But it certainly is adding up that pitting is in fact not entirely beneficial. These drivers, despite their battling, they're staying well consumed. You can just see Janssen is nursing that car. Oh, there was a spin there from a Mercedes. That might have been Tonga Guardia, I think it was. He gets away again, and Tonga might have suspension damage, and that's what's making him struggle. He drops to 6th now. 3 minutes to go. Jeff Purkis with a slowdown penalty. It's just not working for him in these feature races for Jeff. And that's another spin for Tonga Guardia. It's... Oh, the car really is toast by the looks of it. Oh, blocking the track, get out of the way. Yeah, I think his suspension might be a bit cooked. He's got to be really careful here. I don't want to look at it. As he gets away, yeah, he finally gets away. I think the suspension is ruined now. Just inconceivable. Impossible to drive that car, and he's trying to pull it away, but might have to call it a day. Will Tonga Guardia? He has spun again in very, very close to Emil Holmberg there. He's not giving up. There's certainly a line between getting it to the end, yes, and safety, of course, and yeah, he cannot control that car. I really do suggest he retires this car from the race. He does not want to ruin anyone else's, and now he's stuck in the gravel. He can't get it off the gravel. It might be game over for Tonga Guardia. Oh, no. It's real unsafe entries to the track there from Tonga. Something the stewards might end up looking at later on. He still can't get it going. As we're flicking between the two. The leaders just passed by him. There they go. Away he goes again. He's getting away safely, but for how long? Now, just over a minute to go. I believe these drivers will get to have another lap, which they probably won't want. But at the moment, William Foyle leads the way. Winner of the feature race 2 weeks ago. He probably should have won the feature race last week, but he thought there was a checkered flag when there wasn't. Cannot do the same again here. But a double feature race winner is on the cards for William Foyle at the moment. We're looking at Tonga Guardia again, who's adding more drama. Has barely gone 2 corners. This is Navalov battling with, is that Roll TK in front of him? Yes, it is. And Navalov gets in front of Roll TK, up another position to 6th. That's good for Navalov, as that's more points. Jeff Perkis close to Stephen de Gravelia. Not far ahead of him there. Jeff's got, it's the only position he can make up, and I think Tonga Guardia is still going, getting out of people's way, thankfully. Jeff Perkins with a big run on Stephen de Gravelia. He'll try the outside, late break in, going into Tarzan. That's an extra position and more points for Jeff Perkis. Oh, but Gravelia goes back up the inside. Good stuff from the Belgian there. Not giving up so easy. But we will skip to William Foyle, who, a bit of a mangled front end early on in this race, but did what he did 2 weeks ago. Just nursing the car to the end. He is the king of endurance races, is William Foyle. He's very, very good at long distance racing. Tyre keeping to the very last, and he's done it here. This will be the last lap for him. If you can hear me, it's your last lap, Will. Very twitchy Mercedes coming out of the Audi S there. He's only got 2 corners to go to another feature race win, and I think I can safely say William Foyle will be leading the championship after today. The drop off from Alex Foyle and others, but William Foyle comes through to win the feature race here at Zandvoort. Ole Jansen valiantly battled, but takes 2nd place in the Mustang. William Foyle takes the honours though in this race again in the feature race. This is Ben Payne struggling to get it through Kumo there. We'll come round this final corner. Has he run out of fuel? He's running very slowly. But this is the car home anyway. 3rd place and another podium for Ben Payne. And that's Alexander Jakobsen there, who comes through in 4th place. He had a bit of a bad start to the race, so he'd be happy with that. That's Petter Nystrom in 5th place. There he comes through. Heike Navalov coming around the final corner there. He'll come through in 6th place. Roll TK back there. Yeah, nice flamboyant end from Navalov there. Thanks for that. Roll TK at his home race comes through in 7th. He'll be pleased with that. His best finish of the season so far. Emil Holmberg, first of the people who pitted. He comes through in 8th place. Jürgen Madsby Pedersen comes around Leindijk for the final time. He'll come through with a top 10 placing of 9th place. Jonas Lindberg with one of the strangest tactics we've seen. 2 pit stops from him. But he'll come through in 10th place. Stormed away at the beginning, decides to come in for tyres, and came in for more later on, but he'll come through in 10th place. Scott McLean has already finished. Stephen de Gravelia has already finished, as has Jeff Perkis. And Tonga Guardia may have. May have not. But he finishes 14th. The rest are non-finishers. Ben Sisko didn't finish. Cameron McPhail didn't finish. Ian Deeney, Gabriel Lopez didn't finish. And disconnections from Albin Kilgren and Alex Foyle, unfortunately for them. Donuts from William Foyle. And I'm pretty sure he will be the championship leader today, after today. That win in this feature race ahead of his championship rivals by a huge amount. His championship rivals were Emil Holmberg, Alex Foyle, Jeff Perkis, and I think Navalov, and he's finished well ahead of all of them. So a triumphant race for him and his championship. Have to say a big hats off to Ole Jansen as well. But our driver of the day, we have got to pick. We have got to pick someone to be our driver of the day. I really don't know. I think a lot of people have driven really well tonight. I'm going. I've given it to William Foyle a lot, so I'm not. I'm not going to give it to William Foyle. He is one of the. He's an honour. Yeah, he certainly gets an honourable mention. But my drive of the day is actually going to Ollie Jansen in the Mustang. I think what he's done with that car in this meeting is extraordinary. It really is one of the hardest cars to handle out of this pack of cars, DTM 92s. I really think what he's done on this track in that car is exemplar. Really, really impressive. And battling for the lead in that final race on next to 0% tyre tread is has really impressed me. But this has been the Crest Autosport Raceroom League's DTM 92s. You can join us in, wrong one, 1 week's time, where we'll be at Oschersleben for the DTM 2020s, but you want to watch the 92s again, it will be Zolder in 2 weeks. There's your results of the final race. Lindbergh got fast lap, but William Foyle takes the win with Jansen in second. Ben Payne taking his second podium of the season in third place. Jakobsen in fourth. Per Nyström in fifth, with Navalov in sixth. Roll TK on his home race in seventh, and eighth, Emil Holmberg. Thank you very much for watching what's been the Crest Autosport Raceroom League's DTM 92, sponsored by the GP Box, the Motorsport Marketplace online store. Round 2 has been and gone here at Zandvoort. Next week, you can catch us at Oschersleben for the DTM 2020s, and in 2 weeks' time, it's round 3 for these 92s at Zolder. We'll see you next week, hopefully. Thank you very much for watching.